Hey Canucks fans, let's recap day one of Canucks training camp in Abbotsford. I'm Canuck Clay. I'm the founder of the GLCPC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club. This is my Canucks take, all in one take. It's Clay's Canucks commentary, my third video of the day for Thursday, September the 23rd. If you're new, this is what you should do. Hit the subscribe button now for daily Canucks insight that's positive, timely, and trustworthy. And as always, this vlog is brought to you by Perform and Transform, personal training, and weight loss. Use the link below in the description to sign up for a free 7-day trial. A few things I want to talk about. I want to talk about combinations, and then I want to talk about the bag skate. So with Pettersson and Hughes missing, also with Hamonic missing, so Hughes and Hamonic missing, so that's one top six pairing actually that's gone if they're going to play together. But so two of the top six are gone. And then with up front with Pettersson missing, and then of course Sutter and Motte. So you're missing really three of your top 12 forwards and at least one of the top 9 in PD. So needless to say, the lines, the combos and the d-pairings today, although intriguing because they always are, we can't read too much into it, not as much as last year, previous years, because of the quality of player that's away. In particular, PD for the top line, Hughes and Hamonic, a full pairing, and then Sutter and Motte on the fourth line. So this is what we saw, and it is based on what I've read, what I've listened to, what I've seen, and what I've watched. On one of the groups, they basically split the top 8 forwards, right? Top 9 minus PD. So the top 8 forwards, they split them into two groups, and distribute them over the two groups, and they did that basically with the top eight defensemen or so. And of course, there's all the depth guys that filled it up. So in the first group this morning, it was interesting. It was Nick Pettersson skating between Boeser and Höglander on what you could say the first line of that group. So that was, again, Pettersson between Boeser and Höglander. Great chance for Pettersson to show his offensive ability. And then you had Horvat with Pearson, his longtime running buddy, and Zach McEwen. Those were the top two lines of Group A. And, obviously we don't want to read too much into it because I don't think McEwen's starting the season with Horvat, and I don't think Nick Pettersson is going to be centering Brock Boeser when the season starts, but that's what happens when you split the groups up and when you're short one elite center. So, again, up front, kind of interesting. Pettersson between Boeser and Höglander, then Horvat between Pearson and McEwen. And then the other two lines, maybe 6 or 7 more forwards, kind of skated together in the bottom two lines. Then for D, it was the two newcomers. It was Oliver Ekman-larsson and Tucker Pullman together. Now, Travis Green afterwards said he's not sure if this is going to be a pairing when the season starts, but he wanted to see how they work together, even though they're both new to the team. And then the second pairing for this group was, who was it? Oh yeah, it was Brad Hunt playing with Madison Bowie. And that was, not a lot of star power there. Again, remember, Hughes and Hamonic, bona fide second pairing are gone. They're missing, I should say. So there you had Bowie on the right side, kind of the forgotten man last season, playing with Brad Hunt, who can play actually both sides, which is kind of good for his shot to make it as a depth defenseman. And then so that's kind of like the primary skaters in the first group. In the second group, then, all eyes were on this kind of intriguing line of JT Miller between Connor Garland and Vasily Podkolzin. So that's kind of cool. I'll talk about that in a second. And then the next line, the second line of this group, Jason Dickinson. So he's the 8th of the top 8 forwards. Dickinson actually skated between Phil DiGiuseppe and Alex Chiasson. So that's kind of an interesting line, some good size there. And then of course the other 7 or 8 forwards made up the bottom two lines. Then on D, a bit stronger on this pairing, on this side, well, I guess it's a matter of opinion. You have Juolevi playing with Myers, and they did play together a little bit last season. And then you had Rathbone playing with Luke Schenn. So you could see that Rathbone and Schenn, you call that the third pairing today, the third best pairing, probably the fourth best pairing, obviously, when you include Hughes and Hamonic. So at least today, we had Olli Juolevi playing with the established right-hander in Tyler Myers. And again, they played together last season. Back to this line of Miller, Podkolzin, and Garland. Travis Green said he wanted to see, in particular, Miller and Garland play together. And if PD's out for any long period of time, then you want Miller at center. So then you have Miller and Horvat and Dickinson as your top 3. You want to see, like I said, he wanted to see Miller and Garland together. Then he also said that Podkolzin can play both wings. He said Hoglander can play both wings. Dickinson can play center or wing. Miller can play center or wing. So for those of you that really like structure and really like everything laid out and kind of deliberate and intentional that way, you're not going to like the next couple of days, I think, because PD missing and then Travis Green likely going to try different combinations and stuff with the flexibility of Dickinson and Miller both being able to play center and wing. And of course, you have Garland and Podkolzin, the two young guys who can play either side as well. And then throw it all together. And then Pearson was skating with Horvat, which was a bit of a surprise today. So it's just kind of some thoughts on the combinations. Again, because how early it is and because of all the guys missing, let's not read too much into it just yet, although I just spent 4 minutes talking about it. The other thing I want to talk about is it was the infamous Travis Green bag skate. And even though I'm going to spend 2 minutes talking about it, I think people are making way too big of a deal out of this. I mean, every team does it, but in Vancouver, there seems to be folklore around it, whether it's Troy Stetcher throwing up a few years ago. This year is Connor Garland or Jake Virtanen not doing really well last season, whatever it is. But, when you have media there, when you have fans there, when you have fans pretending to be media there, you get a lot of pictures and a lot of images. So we saw Ekman-larsson doing very poorly in his bag skate. We saw Olli Juolevi almost dying in the corner. I shouldn't say it like that, but he was sprawled out in the corner on the ice after one of his bag skates. And yet Connor Garland throwing up behind the net. But, it makes for good meme material. It makes for some good images and a chuckle here and there. But I'm not going to sit here and say Ekman-larsson is out of shape. I'm not going to sit here and say Juolevi is out of shape. These are highly tuned athletes. Maybe that's why people want to see them do well. But someone's got to come in last. Just like we can't read too much into Hoglander winning his heat or Will Lockwood winning his heat. Does it mean they're the best player? No, it means that on that particular drill, they had the best energy, and good for them. And of course, you'd rather finish first than last, but I'm not going to rag on these guys if they didn't have a good showing in day one of training camp. But, it makes for good stories, like I said. But I think in general, a lot of the guys I said that did well, Lockwood and Hoglander, generally the younger guys would seem to do better in this because they're younger, they're trying to make an impression, all those things, whereas some of the, although that doesn't excuse Juolevi now I think about it, but then a guy like Garland who was throwing up doesn't mean he was bad. Ekman-larsson, I don't think they're going to go all out and go crazy on their first day of training camp, especially the veterans. That just doesn't make sense, knowing that they have 2 more days of this to go. So just some thoughts there. So it's kind of funny to look at the videos and the pictures of the aftermath of the bag skate, but let's not read too much into it. Just like let's not read too much into the combinations, the line combos, and the d-pairings. But I'm just thrilled that we have Canucks hockey to talk about. We have actual Canucks players on actual ice skating together to talk about as well. Won't be able to get there on Friday, but I'm thinking about getting out there on Saturday. I have to move a couple things around, but it might be worth going out there on Saturday just to see people and just to see some of the guys in action. So there we go, Canucks fans. From what you heard me say, what you've read, what you've seen, let me know your impressions of day one of camp. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to read, react, and reply as always. Shout out to my hero members, Nucks fan number 29, Justin Credible, Lucas Gates, and Andrew Chang. And thanks to the Hall of Fame members, Jens95, Sim Alexander, Chris Seifert, Adam Broomfield, and Shannon Hollingworth. Thanks to your support. Thanks to the support of all levels of all members. Come join the CCC crew. Press the join button underneath this or any of my videos or on the memberships tab on my YouTube channel. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. Leave a comment below if you'd like to. Become a member if you'd like to. Comment on your impressions of day one of training camp. All right, friends, stay safe, stay healthy, take care of yourselves, and take care of each other. Have a great night. God bless, and go Canucks go.